The most important thing to know about fresh water in California is that there just isn't enough. The second thing you quickly find out is that the state's no stranger to full-on water wars. Basically, whoever controls the water in California controls the future. Currently, the dominant player in the state's big agriculture is Paramount Farms, which is owned and operated by Stuart Resnick. Stuart's goals have recently aligned very closely with Governor Jerry Brown's.
California's water war is heating up. The governor has just unveiled a new $14 billion plan to build 2 tunnels underneath the Delta, transferring water from Northern California to Southern California. The governor says his plan will create a reliable water supply and still maintain a healthy ecosystem in the Delta. Not everyone agrees.
That's why we came out west. We wanted a first-hand look into the newest chapter of California's water wars. So our first stop was to meet Congressman John Garamendi, who's been fighting Jerry Brown's water proposals since the 70s.
This proposal goes back at least 40 years. Jerry Brown in the 1970s, when he was governor, wanted to build this system, got it through the legislature. I and several other folks decided that was a bad thing, and we fought it. We had a referendum, and now he's back. He said it very clearly, I'm going to do it this time. And we're going, what are you going to do, Governor? You're so determined to relive your old life that you want to destroy this thing? You want to build a system that would destroy the largest estuary on the west coast of the Western Hemisphere? Is that what this is all about, just so you can say I did it? It's the North versus the South. It's the war of water in California. It's been going on since the gold rush, and it's continuing to this day.
This area right here is the point at which the water leaves the public realm and enters the private realm, so to speak. The equation is solely focused on big Southern California agribusiness, huge mega corporations that are some of the largest farm interests in the world, producing big money crops. And that's the primary thing driving this thing. And no one has a right to own the water. It doesn't mean that you can totally deprive the rest of the state of its access to the water. And when I say the rest of the state, and that includes the fish and the birds and the animals, early on in the early 2000s, the mid-2000s, we noticed huge declines of fish species in the Delta. 6 million split-tail were killed in one count, and 14,000, 15,000 salmon. Instead of having the power in one interest, the San Joaquin Valley farmers, and that's primarily one company, Paramount Farms, instead of having one big boy controlling the whole game, have the state control it, and have the state control it with very strict rules in terms of who gets water, when they get water, why they get water, and include in that mix all the birds and fish and the environment and the ecosystem up here. So you can answer all the questions just by figuring out where the money is, who's making the most money off the deal.
Moving large amounts of water from one place to another isn't anything new. But the water from the San Joaquin Delta is already spoken for. By law, farmers who have lived here in the San Joaquin Valley for over 250 years still maintain priority rights over the Delta's water. They get it first, and their livelihoods depend on it.
My father was a farmer. I farm with my brother, and I've done that for the last 50 years. All this proposal does is just steal the water from one area and ship it to another area. The reasoning changes all the time. At first it was to enhance the aquatic species out here. Well, the Academy of Science said the peripheral tunnels or canal won't enhance the species. And so then they said, well, we'll do adaptive management. So in other words, we're going to build this and then we'll figure out how to work it. We fought this battle in 1982, and I think my dad fought this battle in the 50s and the 60s. It's always been somebody trying to steal our water. Anytime there's a finite amount of water, there's always somebody that doesn't have it that wants it. And don't get me wrong. We don't mind sharing any surplus water, but don't take my water. I depend on it for my livelihood.
Right now we're headed to Clarksburg, where we're going to film where they want to begin these new tunnels. Sacramento River, chilling on a private levee. Snuck out here so we could see it for ourselves. If Jerry Brown's peripheral canal proposal goes through, they'll take 2 large tunnels underground right under here, and 9,000 cubic inches of water per second will be taken from Sacramento River all the way down south. And basically all of the farmers out here are completely dependent on this water. Potentially that could all end as quickly as, shutting off a faucet. John Herrick is one of a number of lawyers working to stop the Bay Delta Conservation Plan from approval. Along with a number of colleagues, John's been on the job for about 30 years already.
Their proposal is we're going to improve the Delta by moving our intake. So their plan is to make the Delta better by having less fresh water flow through it. It's that nuts.
Why does the Department of Water Resources and the Department of the Interior want them to have those water rights?
That's an interesting question. I don't know. One of the things that should be separated but isn't is the fact that the Department of Water Resources is a seller to the contractors. So large amounts of money go from the people who want the water, exporters, to the department. That connection of buyer-seller has resulted in Department of Water Resources following the desires of their clients, their buyers. In our opinion, although we haven't figured out a way, there are people that should be put in jail for these things.
All right, so basically all of the proponents of the peripheral canal have pointed us in the direction of the Department of Water Resources, but unfortunately after we set up an appointment with them, they claim that they heard some things about us and decided to cancel our 10 o'clock appointment. So it is 10 o'clock now. We figure we might drop in because we have to hear from their side, and are there reasons behind wanting this peripheral canal.
Yeah, we're doing an interview.
Hi.
How's it going?
Oh, I work for state parks. What can it be?
This too shall pass.
It's entertaining. Did you have an appointment?
Yeah, we did for 10 o'clock originally.
What company do you work for?
Vice Media?
I didn't have anything on my calendar.
Is there anyone else we can speak to? Proponent of the peripheral canal to speak with.
Most of our executive staff is actually at the office today. So
Really?
everyone else is.
The secretary was sharp enough to divert us away from the building and not let us talk to anybody, but we got some good pizza recommendations, so we're cool. Once we got back to New York, we realized that after all of our appointments were canceled with the Department of Water Resources, the Natural Resources Agency, and a chemist who helped back the proposal's science, we didn't have a single statement from the proponents of the plan, let alone a positive one. So we tried again. Okay, so I just found the list of all of the supporters. This is everybody who is a proponent of the peripheral canal. Let's see if we can talk to somebody.
The Natural Resources Agency, this is Kim. How may I direct your call?
Hi there, my name is Emerson Rosenthal, and I'm calling on behalf of Vice Media.
Okay, can you hold for just 1 second? Let me see if there's somebody available. Hi, this is Nancy Vogel, Director of Public Affairs for the Department. Hi, you've reached Solomon Investment with Paramount Farms. Please leave a message and I will return your call. We have someone here in the office that covers Bay Delta. They're not in right now.
Were you the woman that sent us to that really great pizza place?
Yes, that's me.
Ah, okay.
Oh, good. You guys like Zelda's after all?
Yeah, it was delicious.
Just 1 second. Let me see if there's somebody available.
Will you please hold for just 1 second?
One moment.
Thank you.
One moment.
The only response we got was an email from the governor's press office with a link to their press release. In the meantime, the governor's been hard at work pushing the proposal past a legislative vote in spite of the opposition.
This proposal balances the concerns of those who live and work on the Delta, those who rely on it for water, and those who appreciate its beauty, its fish, waterfowl, and wildlife.
So we'll have to go with that as their official statement. And with all lines of communication cut off between the designers of the plan and the people asking questions, the Bay Delta Conservation Plan is quickly becoming an imminent reality in the haze of California politics. Will Governor Jerry Brown win the water war he's been waging since the 70s? Is this a new precedent for controlling water in America? In the words of Detective Walsh, in perhaps the most famous film about California's water, forget it, Jake, it's Chinatown.